All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Chris Sims has weighed in on how he feels about the Niners after 6 weeks of play. The Niners, of course, are 3-3. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket. Get some brisket chili. Tell them the Krug sent you. And this video is also sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups, and you can win real money. We do it every week. Download the app below and make sure you use the promo code NINERS to get your first deposit matched up to $200. Thanks to Better for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, well, everybody's weighing in on what the Niners look like after 6 weeks of play. And I always like to keep kind of a handle on this just to see how does the nationwide media core kind of view the 49ers from afar? Because we know they're not immersed in it. They're not watching every play. They're not watching every game. The Ringer ranks the Niners 7th overall. Yahoo Sports 7th overall. 33rd Team says the Niners are the 8th best team in the NFL. Sports Illustrated also said 8th. The Athletic said 10th. ESPN agrees with them. They have the Niners as the 10th best team in pro football. CBS Sports has the Niners at 11th. Pro Football Talk 12th. The Sporting News 12th. The USA Today says the Niners are the 12th best team in the NFL. Bleacher Report says they're the 13th best team. And NFL.com has the Niners as the 14th best team in the NFL. They're basically saying they're a mid-pack kind of a team. All right, let's hear from Chris Sims. Sims works for NBC. He's obviously buddies with Shanahan going way back, but sometimes he'll be complimentary of the Niners. Sometimes he rips the Niners. Sometimes he's complimentary of Shanahan, but rips the Niners. Here's Chris Sims and his thoughts on how the 49ers stack up after 6 games.
We don't want you to forget what happened on Thursday. 49ers went into Seattle, beat the Seahawks 36-24.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway from that?
Well, the 49ers are a dangerous offensive football team. Like we talked about at the start of the show, they're certainly in the conversation for one of the best offenses in football. They're a big problem. I mean, again, special teams, they let up a kick return when you're going, they're about to blow Seattle out. We saw them let up a big punt return in the Rams game late in the game that let the Rams come back and win the football game. There's been issues there. The 49ers defense is a little scary. I think that's the big problem. Hufanga, he's hurt. They don't really have a shutdown corner. Dre Greenlaw, right? He's not there. Javon Hargraves, D tackle, he's not there. He's out for the year. They only have one elite D lineman right now in Nick Bosa, right? So that's what I worry about them going forward, and that's kind of what happened in the second half. You just felt like Seattle finally got in a roll, started to make some big plays and do all of that, but clearly the 49ers are the better team on the football field. Yeah. And damn can they run the football. I hope Jordan Mason's okay, right? He hurt his shoulder a little bit in the football game because he is really good. We saw the kid from Louisville break the big run at the end of the football game, but man, when Shanahan got to feel like he did the other night, and you're just like, whoa, there goes Debo. Whoa, there goes Kittle. Whoa, there goes the run game. They are fun to watch, and I certainly am not counting out the San Francisco 49ers. They are the best 3-3 football team in the league.
All right, so there you have Chris Sims setting a record, by the way, for the number of times that you can say football in a soundbite. That was good football analysis of the football game by a football announcer on a football team named the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of football references there from Sims. All right, let's talk about what he said. He's like, he loves the Niners offense. He doesn't love the Niners defensively. Well, the Niners offensively have been very good. They've struggled in the red zone. They're 25th in red zone touchdown percentage. But the rest of their numbers are all top-tier numbers. They're top 10 in average scoring margin, yards per play, first downs per play, third down conversion percentage, DVOA offense, EPA per play, success rate, and points per game. They're 8th in points per game. So the 49ers are a really good offensive team. Brock Purdy is Pro Football Focus's number 1 highest graded quarterback in the NFL. Carr's 2, Burrow's 3, Lamar's 4, Daniels is 5, but Brock is number 1. They're doing this all without CMC, who's the reigning offensive player of the year, because Jordan Mason has been fantastic. Jordan Mason is, he's doing an incredible job right now. The 49ers are third in the NFL in rushing. They're averaging 158 yards per game, and they're doing it without Christian McCaffrey. So, a couple things on this. One, offensively, the 49ers look pretty good. Where are they weak? They're awful on special teams, one of the worst special teams in all of football, and they're not as good defensively. The Niners are 9th in offense. They're 12th in defense. Kansas City, by comparison, is 15th in offense, 6th in defense. So as far as offensively, before we talk about the defense, the big question I have is, can the Niners, we're going to find out a lot more about the Niners offensively in this game. Can they run the ball? Can they run the ball against a really good run D? Because that's what the Chiefs have, is a really good run D led by Nick Bolton. Kansas City allows 88 yards per game on the ground. It's one of the best run Ds in pro football. They held Derrick Henry in week 1 to 46 yards. They held Zach Moss in week 2 to 34 yards. They held Bijan Robinson, who's one of the best backs in football, to 31 yards in week 3. They held J.K. Dobbins down. He only had 32 yards. Last week, Alvin Kamara had 26 yards. So it's a really good run D led by Nick Bolton, who leads Kansas City. He's got 38 tackles. Bolton himself had 11 tackles and 2 TFLs in the game last week against the Saints. So strength against strength, right? The Niners have a really good run game. They just ran for 228 yards against Seattle. Kansas City can stop the run. Guerendo and Taylor, by the way, Isaac Guerendo and Patrick Taylor combined for 14 carries for 89 yards. So obviously it wasn't all Mason. And can the Niners run the ball on Kansas City? That's a big question as far as I'm concerned. Defensively, it's funny. He talks about Hufanga and Hargrave, and I don't know that the Niners miss Hufanga or Hargrave, to be completely honest. And nothing against those guys, but Hargrave didn't stop the run. The Niners have been better at stopping the run since Hargrave left. And as far as Hufanga is concerned, Hufanga is a good football player who I think a lot of people think is an elite football player. He's not that fast. He's not that powerful. He falls off tackles. I like him as a guy. He's a great guy. He's a smart football player, but there are better safeties against the run, and there's way better safeties against the pass. I think he might be a little bit overrated, to be completely honest. And Hargrave, as I said, they're stopping the run better since Hargrave left. So it's funny. He does point to Greenlaw. Now, the Niners miss Greenlaw in the worst way. There's no question about it. He was one of their alphas, one of their leaders. He is, he's vicious. He is a big part of their intimidation. He's a big part of their swagger. He's a big part of what makes them a team that people kind of fear playing. I don't think anybody fears the Niner defense without Trey Greenlaw. But yeah, the Niners up front are really dependent on Nick Bosa to get it done. Have you noticed when Bosa and Floyd get it done, the Niners defense is a whole lot better? Bosa and Floyd against Seattle had 20 combined pressures. And can they pressure Mahomes? Jawan Taylor, not a great offensive tackle. Wanya Morris, not a great offensive tackle and a little bit banged up. The 49er defensive ends should put pressure on Mahomes. If you put pressure on Mahomes, you can beat Mahomes. It's easier said than done. I would say the other big positive for the 49ers on the defensive side, and we'll see how it goes going forward, is Evan Anderson, the rookie from Florida Atlantic. Undrafted out of Florida Atlantic, the Niners gave him $280,000 fully guaranteed. And he's played great. He's 6'3", 325. He's just stopping by 325, by the way. He was 360, and I think he'd like to be about 310. But this kid is an absolute load. He's got quick feet, enormous natural strength. He first got out there in week 4. He played 19 snaps. He had 2 pressures, a sack, a forced fumble, and 1 run stop. That's a pretty good day at the office. They dusted him out this week against Seattle. He played 13 snaps, 2 pressures, 2 tackles. Anderson's playing really, really well. If he continues to play really well up front against the run, that's going to help the 49ers. The other significant addition on the Niner front is they've added Adrian Amos, the safety, who can cover, and he can play free safety, he can play strong safety, so it gives them another veteran guy on the back end. They're going to miss – they need another linebacker. They need a trade or acquire another linebacker to replace Devondre Campbell. Campbell's getting absolutely ripped. He's missing tackles in the run game, but he's absolutely toast in the pass game. They've got to find a better linebacker than Devondre Campbell. Other than that, I think the defense has potential on all 3 levels. Lenore playing like an all-pro. Bosa at times looks like an all-pro. Fred Warner definitely playing like an all-pro. So you've got some really good players on all 3 levels of your defense. It's just a matter of, can you get it all going in the same direction? Can you get a little bit more help on the edges from some of the backup players, some of the depth players? Can you find a replacement for Campbell? But I do agree with Sims that the defense is the iffy part. Obviously, special teams is a big question mark as well. But the Niners should feel pretty good about their offense. Without CMC, they still have great weapons. Their O-line just blocked for 228-yard rushing effort. The O-line also allowed no sacks. Purdy's playing the best ball of his career. If the Niners can step up on defense and on special teams, they can make another return trip to the Super Bowl. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to Better for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.